Hi, I'm attorney Vincent Davis, and I've been fighting CPS for over 35 years. Through my years of experience, I've gained invaluable insights that I'm ready to share with you. If you're a parent or a caregiver or a relative, we need to talk. I'm offering a new opportunity for you to speak with me on a one-on-one basis. Ask me any questions, and I'll provide you with the insight you need to take steps in your CPS case. Members get everything they need to gain confidence and the knowledge that they need to support necessary to truly fight back. And as a special thank you for attending, I have a special offer just for you. Don't miss out, join us, and let's take that next step together. I'll see you at the question and answer event.
Good evening and welcome to my podcast. This is a live podcast from Southern California, and you found me on Facebook. And tonight we're fighting CPS and stop taking our children. I'm Bob Pace, and I'm here to help you and welcome you here. I know it's a very difficult time for right now because you're dealing with an agency that I call CPS, the Child Protection System. It has different names in every county, every state. They've dressed it up and tried to separate, but it all boils down to CPS, the Child Protection System. Now, whether you're in Arizona, where the Department of Children's Services, DCS, or in California, CPS, Child Protection Services, all those different acronyms, the cabinet in Kentucky, wherever it is, it's the CPS. I call it the CPS. What is the CPS? It's a branch of social services that has social workers that are supposed to protect our children from neglect and abuse. Protect our children. The word protect. They also further are supposed to help families in need that need food, housing, clothing, shelter, medical, transportation, a job. Anything to do can help out the family who's going through hard times. That's what they're supposed to do. Furthermore, if they need to break up the family because the children were in imminent danger or the parents had did some bad things, they need to bring the family back together, called reunification. Parents are the best people to raise children. Studies have proven that the biological parents are the best parents to raise the children. And I know a lot of you have lost your families, been broken up by your family, or going to lose your family. I know that you're going through a lot right now. It's a hard thing for you to go through. Every night and every day, I do this twice a day. That's 14 shows, 7 days, Monday through Sunday. And I am on at 10 o'clock in the morning Pacific time, and again on at 7 o'clock at night Pacific Standard Time for 1 hour each. There is exceptions. On Sunday, I go to church, so I start my show 2 hours early at 8 o'clock. And then on Friday nights, it's Friday night football. I have a football game that I attend at 7 o'clock. So I start my podcast a couple hours before that. As it gets close to Friday, I'll give you the time for Friday's show. But I first got to clear it with my show producer. Now, I'm glad you found me. I've been through CPS. I've been fighting them for 15 years. 5 years, there were false allegations. Then after the 5th year, they took away my children. And that was a 3-year battle. And I had to sell my home to get the money to retain the best lawyer in the land. It was a hard thing to do, to give up a home that you'd worked 45 years for. I mean, I've been working now for over 60 years. And in 2010, I had worked 50 years when I lost my job through no fault of my own. At age 60, I lost my job, and I've been working for a long time. I've been working since I was 15. So I'm 74 now. I'll be 70. Excuse me. I'm 73 now. I'll be 74 this November. I think that's the right time now. I kind of lose track of my time. I don't feel or act I'm 74 or 73, but I do care about you parents because I know what it was like to go through it. And I've come up with 5 rules that I wish I had followed that I've made to help you all parents, and I can discuss them. Hi, Natalie, you found me. Great. I'm so glad you came to me. Natalie is from West Hollywood. She's a single mother, and she lost her children through no fault of her own. They thought she had mental problems, and they arrested her for 72 hours and messed up her life. It was the worst nightmare that she ever went through. Now, Natalie is saying, hi, I heard about how Bloomington, California was bought by the Amazons. Does that have something to do with CPS, Natalie? Is Bloomington, California, was that a CPS case? Bought out by the Amazon. Are you talking about the company Amazon or the Amazon in South America? She further says, 74 Bravo. Yes. Okay. What does buying out Bloomington, California by Amazon have to do with CPS? Could you elaborate more for me? I'll be going over how they interact with this podcast. There are 4 ways you can interact with this podcast. One way is by being in this room, and congratulations, you found it. It's on Facebook, and it's Fight CPS Bob Pace. And that's the morning show. And the evening show is Fight CPS Stop Taking Our Children. Now, I want to thank all the people in the room now. That's great. We got a lot of people in the room. You can interact in this podcast by doing emojis. You can put thumbs up, you can put smiley faces, or you can do hearts. Furthermore, if you want to show appreciation, shower me with stars. Also, down below, please okay, so you can take notes and hang out in this room and listen because I have a lot to offer you. Now, if you want to do more, and let's say you want to comment or something, hey, Faye, glad to see you. Okay, Natalie is saying the company Amazon had bought out the city in Bloomington, California. I guess there's more homeless people and more kids out of the system homeless. Faye says, here's what Faye says, and she's a single mother from Richmond, Kentucky. Hello, hope everybody you're having a blessed night. Thank you, Faye. You're a wonderful woman. I'm so glad to see you and Natalie. That is so great to have you here. Now, as I said, the first step is to be in this room. The next step is if you want to type me a comment like Faye and Natalie have been doing. All you have to do is text in a comment or a question about your CPS, the Child Protection System. Please show me your first name, the city or county, and the state you're from. Now, I know Natalie and Faye, I know where they're from. Faye is from Richmond, Kentucky. Natalie's from North Hollywood, California. Also, show the city or the county your case was in and the state. Furthermore, we have right now about 13 countries that have text and comments. So this is a worldwide podcast. I'm welcome to anybody that has a CPS concern or a question or comment. So of those 14 countries, please show me your province, your state, your city, and your country. That'd be much appreciated. Now, the countries we've been having so far is Bangladesh, New Delhi, India. And then we've had an Arabic country, but I don't speak Arabic. It was in Arabic. So hopefully they'll comment again. Then I've had the continent of Africa. I've had Liberia on the west coast in northern Africa, small little coastal country. And then I've had Rwanda. And Rwanda is the middle of Central East Africa near Lake Victoria. Then Mozambique on the east coast of Africa opposite Madagascar. And then back to the west coast, the western province of South Africa. Then we go up to Europe, and I've had England, Scotland, and Wales. And then I've had Denmark and Sweden. And then we go across the pond to North America, and I've had Canada. I've had a lot of the provinces in Canada. Also, I've had all 50 states, including Washington, D.C., that have texted or called, and I've heard from all of them. They all have something very much in common, that the CPS case they had, including my own, and including Natalie and Faye, the police and the child protection system workers were terrible. They were crooked. They lie, they cheat, they'll do revenge, they hurt, they bring you up, and they do it all strictly for money. It's a money-making business to them. It is not millions, it's not billion, it's not billions, it's trillions of dollars now that they make. Trillions. And it's all about money for bonuses and for incentives for all the social workers. So be complete with your case, too, if you can introduce yourself and talk about your family makeup, the ages and the sex of children, what the accusations were in more detail, and then how were the children taken from the home. Also, you can tell me where you're at on your case. Are you at the beginning, the end? I like to know that. That helps me understand your questions and help you more. Now, a third way is to be a guest on my podcast. And I love you all to be a guest on my podcast. All you have to do is contact my show producer who works behind the scenes, and she'll get you the link. Now, what you do is you email Grace at vincentwdavis.com. That's Grace at vincentwdavis.com. It's shown up on the screen, so you should be able to read it. And when you do contact her, put in my evening or morning show you want, and Monday through Sunday. I want Saturday evening. I want Wednesday morning. Whatever the show is, she'll take it from there. She'll send you the link. You put yourself on, and if you get yourself knocked off, don't panic. That link is good again. So that link is good for that show. So don't lose the link. And then she'll tell you what you can do and not do, like no smoking or eating on the show. And we do not use the children's names or the social workers' names or the judges' names on the podcast here. So that is the third way. Yes, you can call Natalie. Let me give out the number here. I'm doing my fourth step here, and I'll put the number on. This is my number for people that call in, and Natalie likes to call in to talk. My office number is 626-698-0990. I don't take calls before the show or after the show, only during the show. That's the direct line to my phone. I use Vonage. Right now, the Vonage is working for calling in and calling out, but it does not work with texting. So it's hard to text right now. We're trying to resolve that. So, Natalie, if you want to call in, it is open. Now, Natalie's telling me something about a place in California where the Amazon company has taken over and either made the people homeless, or do not know what the CPS connection is there. Good evening, Natalie, and welcome.
Hi. Hi, Bob. Good evening. Today I stayed in. I don't know why, but I did.
Okay.
Yes. So I was like, looking just now on this YouTube video about how many people lost their homes to Amazon in Bloomington, California, and some children were even taken because they were being forced out to be homeless because the parents, they had to accept the offer of a low offer of their home being sold to Amazon, and then really they have built warehouses out there, so they have a lot of children, and the parents don't know where to go with the small amount of money or to buy a home or an apartment. So a lot of kids were taken into the system.
Well, how did they get the homes in the first place? How did they get the homes?
Well, what happened is, from my understanding from the video, was that Amazon had purchased some land in the way back, all right, but close to the homes. And then they got more aggressive, and since Bloomington, it was not, it's in San Bernardino, but it's unincorporated. It's not like they don't have, like, I guess when it's unincorporated, it means like it's like kind of unofficial, but they're not registered in the county and so forth and many things. But they couldn't save the neighborhood because Amazon kept pressuring, and then there's so much corruption, and so they tried. So now there's like a homeless population living in these vacant homes. So some people have stayed, but a lot of children have been taken. And there's one thing about Amazon, if you're familiar with this, they own Wayfair. And I was, like, a while back ago, and this will shock you, I saw another video on YouTube. There was these two guys, and they were talking about child trafficking. They were like one of the first. They said that Wayfair was using an item such as a table, but it was really a child to be sold as in trafficking. So we're seeing how this is getting crazy because online shopping and stuff, it always sounds crazy, but it looks to me this is a bigger issue. Like, people are becoming more homeless in California because we're being bought out by these entities, and our kids are being trafficked. So it's quite scary.
Well, I'm looking that up, Bloomington, California. Now, did the CPS get involved? Are they taking the children, or?
Well, this is from my understanding from the narrator, but I'm not 100% sure, But I'm sure they had to take in some kids on that level.
Well,
it makes sense. They're becoming homeless, so they want, I'm sure.
Well, being homeless is not against the law with CPS. If you're homeless, then the child protection system is supposed to get you shelter.
Right, but because if it's a child, they would see it violently in danger because there's no shelter. You know what I mean? They want to put it in foster care. Because the parents can't provide shelter. It's a 50-50 thing. Sometimes they can help them, providing them in a shelter, or they just take them and put them in foster care. It depends.
I think what you're a little bit confused
on the worker
is that the LA Times is saying that the judge halts construction of a massive warehouse project. I think Amazon was trying to build. I think Amazon was trying to build a giant warehouse project, and maybe they're buying out homes or something.
They have.
Maybe that's what you're trying to communicate to us.
Right, but I'm just saying, looks to me.
Well, let me
that
read
this
it.
could be a
Let me
possibility.
read it. What it says: a Southern California
Okay.
developer must halt the construction of controversial industrial park in San Bernardino County that's displaced scores of homes after a judge found them. After judge found flaws in the project environmental impact reports. County supervisors in the late 222 greenlight an industrial real estate firm proposal to remove 117 homes and ranches in rural Bloomington to make way for more than 2 million square feet of warehouse space. That must be for the Amazon people. Several environmental and community groups sued the county soon after, alleging that the approval of the Bloomington Business Park violates numerous regulations set out in state for environmental and housing laws. Nearly 2 years later, after more than 100 homes have already been leveled, San Bernardino Judge Donald Thing ruled last week that the county's review of the project did not conform with the state law intended to inform decision makers and the public about potential environmental harms of the proposed development. He said the construction of the warehouse project must stop while the county redoes the report in a manner that complies with the law. Now, San Bernardino councilman declined to comment on the ruling because it is the subject of active litigation. Developer Orange County-based Howard Industrial Partners said it would appeal portions of the ruling and predict that the delays to the overall project would be short-lived. The 213-acre industrial park came with the trade-off familiar to communities in California inland empires that have been asked to shoulder the sprawling distribution centers integral to the storage, packaging, delivering of America's online shopping orders. Now, the environmental impact report found that the development would have had significant and unavoidable impacts on air quality, but it also would bring jobs to the majority of the Latino community of 23,000 residents, and the developer pledged to provide millions of dollars in infrastructure improvements. And because the warehouse project would be almost 50 feet from the Zimmerman Elementary, the developer agreed to pay $45 million to the Colton John Unified School District in a land swap that would usher in a state-of-the-art school nearby. For Bloomington residents and community advocates who've been fighting the explosion growth of the warehouse facility in the Inland Empire, the court decision reviewed as a victory. Ana Gonzalez, executive director of the Center for Community Action and Environmental Justice, one of the plaintiffs in the lawsuit, said her organization has challenged a couple warehouse approvals annually for the past 5 years. The lawsuits typically end in settlements that award the community extra protection, such as air filters and heating and ventilation, air conditioning systems for nearby homes. She said never before seen construction stopped in its tracks. Now, it further says to see the way this would turn out to just give us hope and ignites that the resilience that our community needed to keep fighting, Gonzalez said. Still, she said, the timing is bittersweet. I don't know at this point if we ever get the homes that were there back. So somehow the homes were sold. Now, let me read on. They were
sold and, okay, sorry.
That's right. Gonzalez said, to see the community be wiped out in Bloomington is really heartbreaking. So they are wiping out the community. The ruling raises broader questions about the right of San Bernardino's county process for approving warehouse projects, which have become a mainstay of the country's economy. While proponents say the developments bring much more needed jobs to the region, many residents living in their shadows lament the pollution, traffic, and neighborhood disruption. In Bloomington's case, the project in question fractured the community. Some of the people who sold their homes to make way for the industrial park said that they got a good price, were happy to move on, while many of the neighbors left behind see a future with 24-hour truck traffic and howling out of the community rural culture. So it seems like some of the people wanted to sell their homes, they got a good price for it. Other people wanted to stay. Other people wanted to stay.
They want to stay.
Yeah. Alonda Mateo, a community organization for another plaintiff in the suit, the People Collection for Environmental Justice, said the many residents who have spoken out in public hearings raised concerns about the environmental impacts of Bloomington Business Park. We're told that the county was adhering to required environmental review process. For the court to take a look at the evidence and then agree with this, Matthew says, is such a big, powerful win to our community that honestly been gaslit for a long time. Candace Youngblood, an attorney with the nonprofit environmental law group Earth Justice, which represents the plaintiff, called the county's environmental report deficient. She said the court's findings are a testament to the fact that this document reflects the cutting corners at the expense of the community and in the interest of the industry. In a nearly 100-page ruling, Alvarez determined the county had violated law Environmental Quality Act by analyzing renewable energy options that might be available appropriate for the project and not adequately. Now, I'm going to scan down. I don't need to read all this because, again, I'm looking for something that says homeless or something that says CPS where the children are taken away.
Okay. I don't know if it's a video, so.
Yeah, but sometimes YouTube videos are not true. That's the problem with people watching videos. Right. And I hate to say it, there's a lot of fake news out there.
Right.
Well,
I don't think I don't know if the LA Times would report that because sometimes they do and sometimes they don't.
Well, I see nothing about what you're talking about. So can you explain what the video told you? What did the video say? Some of the people.
The video explained like basically like how they were bought out, the houses, but also they had said one family was dealing with DCFS before, and then once they had to evacuate or whatever it was to sell the house, they took the kids. That's what he said. But I don't know.
Well, there's okay. There are CPS systems. I mean, there are the child protection system cases all the time. Right. Whether homes are sold, whether they're not sold, whether the county changes or things change, that's all part of the times. So if a person lost their kids because they lost their home, I'm pretty sure.
That's what happened.
Well, they need to appeal that decision because they got the money for to buy the home and to buy another home. If the people are given a couple $100,000,
I think they were renters. So that's what it
was.
They
were renters. Okay, all right. That could be a problem.
So they did not have enough funds to get a home, their apartment to rent. So the owner just shakedown. It was like a shakedown, basically. You sell the house or what? So they thought, okay, I'll just sell it to Amazon or whatever, what the company that they sold to. But yeah, there are a lot of people staying. Some of them are renters because they have nowhere to go.
Well, the families are being evicted from homes. Yeah, that is a tragic thing. And way out there, San Bernardino County, CPS, the child protection system, is awful in San Bernardino. But I don't see anything about people becoming homeless. But I think
lady on Facebook, she had What?
I think I understand what you're trying to say. You have these people that were renting these homes, and the people that own the homes were given a good price to sell their homes, so they sold the homes. The problem that this industrial park should have viewed are these people that live in their homes, or are they renters? Because if a lot of renters lost their homes, then they're going to become homeless. And
Right.
because the person who owns the home is not going to share the wealth on it. So that is really, I think if they should have surveyed the area and see if they're renters or homeowners living there. And that's the sad part about our society. They don't think too far ahead. They don't care. So they say people that own property have a right to sell their property. Faye's in a very similar situation, Kentucky. She's been renting a house for a long time. Her landlord, the one that owns her house, is selling her house. And she's worried they're going to raise the rent and she's going to be forced to move. So that's the dilemma that people have. If you're low income and your house is sold and you're forced to move, it's going to be hard for you because a lot of people that got the house, maybe the down payment was cheap. Maybe the last month was faces her deposit is only $450, which is a drop in the bucket. Here you're looking at $6,000 to move into a couple room apartment, and you're looking like spending $3,000 to $4,000 a month. I'm talking at the beach. So it is hard because there are people that got the old style California bungalow homes at the beach, and the developers come in and buy the land and build a 3-story block home and sell the home for $2 million. And they take that that lot and divide it in half and build 2 of those homes. Meanwhile, they're
going to do that here also.
Yeah, they're going to do that everywhere. Here. They're going to do that everywhere. And that's a good idea that you brought this up. No matter where you live, there's no guarantee if you're a renter if that property be sold. So it's hard. People are struggling right now, and they're trying to get money for rent. And, this is a terrible, terrible thing. And I can see the problems that they're going to have. And when you have a corrupt CPS system in San Bernardino, it's going to make it a lot worse. It's going to make it a lot worse.
Yeah, it's going to make it a lot worse. And I was just seeing, everything was trashed, abandoned. It was just more. And then there's more homeless camps within the properties. And I'm just like, oh, my God, this is so scary. Like, we're living here.
Well, they're out there in the desert. There's a lot of homeless camps, by the way, that have brought in broken down RVs, and the county's trying to clean them up.
No, I know, but here there are a lot of homeless people too, and it's kind of quite funny because they do weird things, like they threw eggs on people's cars last night.
Whose cars?
The neighbors.
Where, Bloomington, California?
No, here in West Hollywood here, yeah.
Well, they throw eggs all the time in West Hollywood. They throw eggs on my neighborhood all the time.
What is the story with the eggs?
Well, it's Halloween. And parents don't watch their kids, and the kids take a dozen eggs out of the refrigerator. My car's been hit numerous times with rotten eggs.
That's crazy.
I ain't chased the kids down, and the parents were gone, and the neighbors said, oh, they're bad children. So I couldn't even talk to the children.
Yes.
I need to include, what do you mean by 74 Bravo? What do you mean by that?
Oh, 74 Bravo. You said you were 74, so I said Bravo.
Oh, I don't know. I guess I don't know how old I was. Born in 1949, but now I forgot my age. I think I'm 73 and going to be 74.
Well, you're 70. Wait, you're 75.
No, I was born in 49 in November.
Right. So next month is your birthday. So you're currently 74, but
no, I'm 73. I thought I was 73.
Oh, okay. Whatever you want to be.
Well, no. I need to figure that out. Okay.
Okay.
Anyway, we're digressing a little bit here. I need to go back with Faye. She sent about 15 comments, and I need to put them up so that
Okay.
everybody can see them and catch up.
All
She's
right.
part of our conversation too. Okay. Faye says, what'd she say? When she heard the story, she said, "Oh my God." And then she laughed with silly faces. And then she says, that turned out to be a scam. I think what happened is what turned out to be a scam is no one took an account of the renters of the homes. It's a Latino community and so far out removed that no one thought about, well, where are the renters going to go? If the homeowners are giving money, the renters won't give anything. And then she put a link on here. She put a link to the BBC News World, and I cannot play that link on my computer because it's on the comment section. I can't copy or stuff. That link's got to go on my phone. Okay, she said she sent me a text, so I'll look on my phone to my cell phone. Yes, I'm sorry, Faye. It takes me so while to keep up with you. Amazon is not trafficking children. No, I never insinuated. I don't think Natalie did either. Natalie was saying there's a lot of homeless, and maybe the CPS is getting more cases because now the children have no shelter because they're renting from the homes that Amazon bought, the developer bought, and sold the homes to the owners. Faye further says, yes, I'm going through this myself now. Yeah, she's talking about her home. So it's very true. By landlord selling our home and ditching it 14 years living here with no notice to move. She has no notice to move. She's been living in her place for 14 years. And that's sad around every place in the country.
But you see, the landlord has to pay her for relocation.
I don't think in Kentucky they don't have laws. Kentucky is very corrupt. Now in
California we do.
So if a landlord is going to sell their home, they have to pay for a relocation?
They would if there's a certain amount, or you would have to sue the landlord.
On what grounds would you sue the landlord?
Because you lived there so long, they have to pay for your moving expense.
I don't know. I have to look into the California law about that because that's stretching it too far. That's dreaming. When you rent a house and you're a month to month, if you're month to month renting the house, if you're month to month, let me finish here, Natalie. If you're month to month and you're renting a house, that means any month they can ask you to leave or they can sell your house. There's no guarantee. There's no guarantee.
Right.
For instance, let's say the owner dies and they have to go to probate court. Well, then the house is going to be sold. And the new owners may or may not talk to you.
Right. But
and I mentioned the $450 deposit that Faye had to pay. I said that was a long time ago. She corrected me. It's 14.5 years ago. That to me is a long time. I couldn't remember how many years, but I said it was a long time ago. And then Faye further says it's $3,000 plus now to move in. So she says before it was $450 14 years ago. To move in a new place, they want a $3,000 deposit. A $3,000 deposit.
Right. You had to pay the deposit.
Yeah.
But if sometimes it's interesting in this case where my neighbor, he passed away, and a lady was living in one of his properties. So they were next door to each other.
Faye figured out my age. Faye says I'm 74, about to be 75. Oh my God. I am ancient. I'm the oldest dinosaur to live.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I am.
You're young as you feel. You're young at heart, as they say.
Anyway, no one's trafficking kids in this way. What is happening is the people are paying a very limited rent and they have no place to go like you do, Faye, and they're going to have to leave their homes. And that's what the whole matter is. So they've sold the homes and some have been torn down. So now these people need to find new homes. And it's hard because there are probably a lot of Latinos that came across the borders that got in there cheap, and now they face reality. It is going to be cheap into me.
No, it's the sad thing is how they can actually do this, and then you actually have a chance that.
Oh yeah, and Faye says there was a rumor of Mayfair and Amazon trafficking children. Now, I'd like to be more explained about that, Faye. If you could tell me who is Mayfair? And
Wayfair is like basically
like Amazon.
It's Amazon. Okay, it's the part of Amazon, but you get like house goods, like cookware, kitchen appliances.
Okay.
Toasters, microwaves.
Okay.
Furniture.
How is Wayfair
like
and
that.
Amazon trafficking children? How are they doing that?
I saw in this video. It's called Too Strong, and the two guys on the narrating the show. They're the hosts. So basically, they said that somehow, that the richest people, they have stock shares in Amazon, but also they're trafficking children. So what they use is they'll use something like a table. Like it was like $40,000 or something. Or it was like an extreme amount for one table, but it really means it's a child to be trafficked. Honest, that's what I heard on the YouTube video. But Faye's looking this up.
Okay, there's a YouTube video where Wayfair and Amazon are accused of trafficking a child and using a code word table for $40,000.
Yes. They're actually selling the table. It's a table.
Okay, understand. But what happened was that Faye can't get her deposit back of $450. 14 years ago,
Why
the landlord.
She get her deposit back?
Because the landlord. Okay, here's what happened. The house used to be owned by somebody else. Then her current landlord bought the house. And he says that he didn't get the deposits from all the people that rent. And so he won't give back the $450 to Faye.
Oh, I see. So I see. So, I see what she's saying. So now he wants to sell the property, the new owner?
Yes.
Okay.
It was
she doesn't get her deposit.
Right. Now she said it was a QAnon group that started the online rumor. So is it a rumor that the Amazon and Wayfair are trafficking children? And who is the Anon? A-N-O-N.
I don't know who they are.
Or A-N-O-N-R? Faye says it was furniture.
Right.
With the names of children alleged. And they used these codes, and the furniture costs attracted astronomical prices. So you're telling me that Amazon and Wayfair called the furniture kids' names and had astronomically pricing.
Right.
Oh, wow. I wonder if someone knows about this, should turn them in. Oh, Faye says it was a rumor. It's probably false. Yeah. That's not funny. That's not funny to start rumors.
No, I didn't. But I'm just saying, what I saw on this video, I was shocked. It's like, well, you never know.
Yeah,
People
well, be
are
very
crazy.
careful what you hear on YouTube. Be very careful
No, I know.
on fake news. What I usually do
But
is I listen to the BBC News, I listen to the CNN News, I listen to the CBS News, I listen to the ABC News and the NBC News. Those are the news that I listen, so I get a variety. So it's got to be a consensus because there's.
those you have, yeah. I know the BBC. How you get the BBC news? We used to see it on the Channel 28 KCET, the public station. Now you can get it online.
Well, I get it through my
Right?
streaming. I get it through my streaming.
Oh, okay. Because in the old days, we used to watch public television.
Right. Right.
It's like basically the early internet without the internet.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
So.
Okay. I didn't realize I'm that old. Now I feel like I'm an ancient dinosaur. I feel so old. Wow.
I feel old, young, and no, I don't know what I feel. Just feel like tired always with it.
Okay, well, thank you for bringing that to my attention. Now I want to make sure anybody else that would like to talk about something, unless you have another question or comment you want to bring in.
Okay, so my question is, if somehow they, like they get, the problem is like they never contact you when they have your kids. That's a very big question. Can we look up in the California manual what is for the social worker, what's their procedure? Yesterday we had Maine's procedure manual for the social worker.
I find out that when you deal with social workers, you have to call them all the time. They're not going to divulge or call you.
Right. No, I know, but it's interesting that they don't call you. And
they don't want to call you. You have to forget. You have to keep thinking.
No, they don't want
it's money. It's money, money, money. And if they're going to get money from you, they don't want to call you. They don't want to help you. They want to traffic your child in the foster care system and hope that they keep hounding you until you give up and lose. And I mean, Faye's been fighting for 13 years to gain access to her daughter because she wants her daughter to know her, that as a mother, she did not give up her daughter on purpose. She was forced to choose between her daughter or her son. She was forced to choose that. Can you imagine having a gun pointed to your head with a bullet in the chambers, and you roll the chamber and you have to click the gun till it goes off? That's the same way that I see that CPS works with parents. They're holding a loading gun to you.
That's what they're doing. Remember I told you about the movies? Well, that's what it is. It's like an action movie. You have to make that drastic choice. It's scary.
Yeah.
But sometimes they don't even give you the
Faye
choice.
also says in Richmond, Kentucky, that they do a farewell time when you give up your children for adoption. They have one more last visit with your child. Now, can you imagine going to that visit and not wanting to cry or not wanting to hold your child or tell your child your mommy loves you, your daddy loves you? I mean, that is a sad state of affair when I heard from Faye that Richmond, Kentucky tortures parents that way. That's wrong.
So that's wrong, and it's
inhumane.
Crazy.
It's inhumane. It's inhumane.
Inhumane, that too, but it's crazy also. I mean, who comes up with these things? It's because they have socialist ideas.
Well, here's the case in point. For all my new visitors and my ones that come here all the time, I talk about the pink ladies. No, I'm not talking about breast cancer.
Right.
I'm not talking about ladies colored in pink. I'm talking about 8 social workers that worked for the Child Protection System in Prescott, Arizona. Now, Prescott, Arizona, one thing I knew about Prescott, Arizona, that it was where the movie Billy Jack was made, and there's several Indian reservations in Prescott. That's the only thing I knew about Prescott.
Is that a Western, that movie, Billy Jack?
Well, it came out in the 1970s and 70s. There was 4 movies called Billy Jack, and it was a 60s movement.
Okay.
And the guy that made the movie and his wife starred in the movie. And it was a martial arts character, sort of like the guy that plays Rambo, Sylvester Stallone, or the guy that plays Chuck Norris is a martial arts. Well, Billy Jack was a martial arts. And in Prescott, there was a bad town, and people used to abuse. He would stand up for the common person. Also, it was the 60s era. You see, the late 60s and early 70s. We had the AIM, the American Indian Movement of 1974 at Wounded Knee. The second time, the first time at Wounded Knee in South Dakota, over 3,000 people were murdered. 3,000 Lakota Sioux Indians.
That's true.
Were murdered by the cavalry. And then they had that was in the 1870s. And then almost 100 years later at Wounded Knee, the American Indian Movement, headed by Richard Means, took the town of Wounded Knee to stage. And what happened was a Indian person was killed and 2 FBI guys were paralyzed. And it was a standoff. No one wanted, and the Indians are still poor. They're still poor. So I've been to Wounded Knee. It's near where Custer's last stand was to battle Little Bighorn. Because my great-great-grandmother is from the Rosebud Reservation next to the Porous Reservation, the Pinewood Reservation. The Pinewood Reservation is the poorest place in the country per capita. So you have the Pinewood Reservation, and to the east of it is the Rosebud. And Wounded Knee is there, and so is the Little Bighorn is there. There's a lot of famous battles. One thing noted about the Little Bighorn, that was the only battle that the Indians won, and it was won by the Lakota Sioux Crazy Horse.
Crazy Horse, yes.
So anyway, a little bit of history.
Yes.
They supposedly had CPS back in those days. It's funny. When you look up the story of the history of CPS, they said there's 3 chapters. It started in the 1600s and went to 1875. Then in 1875, the second phase was to 1962, and the third phase is 62 on. And Faye and I have had lengthy discussions. It was organizations and very wealthy people that took care of our children or tried to take care of our children. There's a lot of things there. But the Child Protection Agency has claimed that they've been doing it since the 1600s. And they've done a very poor job. They've done a very poor job. So I like to go back to my pink ladies, but I never finished the story for all my new listeners. The pink ladies had these T-shirts, they're colored pink, and had stenciled on the front of the T-shirts, professional child kidnappers. And on the back, they had, parents, do you know where your children are at? And they paraded around in front of Walmart, Kmart, Costco, Target, Best Buys. And it really took the parents by storm. And they had those 8 social workers fired along with the director. So they only had one person left in the social services office to protect our children from neglect and abuse. And that was a terrible thing because there was 25 years that went up in smoke. But those ladies were sick enough to parade around. And they posed a picture where one showed forward, one showed back, side by side. All 8 ladies. So don't tell me it was a misunderstanding or they didn't want to do it. It was how the bad mouth. And that is the kind of individuals that you're seeing and trusted in the child protection system. Now, we have about 5 minutes left. I do want to talk about the attorney that sponsors this podcast. His name is Vincent W. Davis. He has a law firm, Vincent Davis and Associates. And he's been practicing law for 35 years as a juvenile family dependency lawyer. He has fought CPS over all these years, and he's won cases and got children's back. In fact, he's a trial attorney. And further, he's also sued CPS in both state and federal courts and won millions of dollars. So he's the real deal. And what I like to do right now is offer you a consultation, a Zoom consultation with Mr. Davis. And he can help you for up to 30 minutes. He will talk to you privately about your CPS case, how to strategize, how to get your kids back, and how to fight them. You have nothing to lose by going to his website, https://candidly, CALENDLY.com/apps, APPTS/VWD/Bob Pace. You go there and you sign and you can get a consultation. When you see Mr. Davis, you can tell him that Bob Pace sent you. But you should talk to him at least for 30 minutes. Also, you may want to retain him. I did hire him. I had to sell my home, unfortunately, to get the money to hire him. But he did help me get our children back. We had 6 children. 3 of them were grown-up adults, so they weren't at home at the time. The 3 younger ones they were stolen, they were trafficking into foster care, and then my social worker, just like the pink ladies, is just as corrupt. She was on the witness stand and she lied. She committed perjury on the witness stand. Our attorney, Vincent Davis, asked a question. Do you think this lady and her husband would make good parents for the adoption of our child? And he asked, furthermore, have they ever had any domestic violence? And she very proudly said they would be great parents. And no, they've had no domestic violence. Well, Mr. Davis had a folder. He brought out his briefcase. And it was 30 reports. And he started reading them one by one. And the social worker fell apart. And she then told us that you're never going to see your daughter. And what she did is that she divorced us, emancipated from us, because they do that at age 12. And she divorced her brothers, her 2 brothers, her aunt and uncle and cousins and grandparents. She divorced everybody. She changed her name completely, got rid of her first, middle, and last name. And then she sealed her birth certificate and got adopted by the foster care, got a new birth certificate showing the foster parents and a new social security card. Then as she grew up, she got rid of her foster care because they did something wrong to her. We do not know what they did wrong to her. But she's living right now with her oldest daughter. And she's 22 years old, but she still won't talk to us. And that is the hardest thing for me to swallow. So please hire Vincent Davis or talk to him at least. Every week, every Saturday, he has a podcast on where his questions and answers. He's there to help you. He's here to help you navigate through CPS and get your children back. And he has done. I was just talking to a girl from San Bernardino who helped her get one of her children back. And she said that he really helped her. So he's the real deal. I've used him and other people have used him. So make sure you do contact him. Also, don't give up on your CPS case. Hang in there. Faye hasn't given up. For 13 years, she finally got an answer back from the cabinet and from the new ombudsperson who is now talking to her, communicating. And so she wants to let her daughter know that she loved her and that it was not her fault that she was given up for adoption. That's what Faye wants to do. Faye is a remarkable woman, very strong. Natalie is very strong because she's lost her children. They called her crazy, and she wasn't crazy. And she still would love to see her daughter and her son. And I hope today they still do it. So keep trying. Right now, I'm going to end the podcast. I'll see you all tomorrow at 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. God bless you all. Thank you, Faye and Natalie. And I will talk to you all again. You're going to hear a new message from Vincent Davis as soon as I end the podcast here.
Hi, I'm attorney Vincent Davis, and I've been fighting CPS for over 35 years. Through my years of experience, I've gained invaluable insights that I'm ready to share with you. If you're a parent or a caregiver or a relative, we need to talk. I'm offering a new opportunity for you to speak with me on a one-on-one basis. Ask me any questions, and I'll provide you with the insight you need to take steps in your CPS case. Members get everything they need to gain confidence and the knowledge that they need to support necessary to truly fight back. And as a special thank you for attending, I have a special offer just for you. Don't miss out. Join us, and let's take that next step together. I'll see you at the question and answer event.